And the results are in. President Obama gets 4 more years,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you watched the returns just like the rest of us. Your reaction to all of this?
I needed more wine to drink last night, but that was a whole other story. Honestly, it is what it is. I mean, we're just going to have to get ourselves prepared and to deal with this now for what's going to be happening for the next 4 years. I mean, it is it's sort of sad. I'm hoping that, and I know it's silly, but I'm hoping to think that somebody will begin to figure out that it was a really close election and maybe he should try to reach for common ground somewhere. It's sad. It is sad, of course, and the guests who come here, I mean, there was certainly a sense of this after the second debate when he finally, spoke up about what his intentions were. And, of course, Dianne Feinstein just met last week, with her entourage of folks of what they're going to be trying to do. And so it's, we're off and running, I guess.
Are you already hearing from customers talking about what happened last night?
Oh yes,
yeah.
In fact, we hold a monthly managers meeting here on the first Wednesday of every month, and that just so happened to be the night after. So we met this morning really quick, and we've been getting ourselves all prepared. We're actually better prepared to deal with this now. I say we, I'm talking not just H&H, but dealers and the industry is certainly in a better position to handle this now than they were 4 years ago. I mean, I think a lot of us were a little surprised at the influx of people. The wonderful thing about all this, though, Jenny, I got to tell you, is who is doing the buying, and this new group of young adults. They're in their mid to late 30s. They haven't bought into this drama, and that guns are bad. They've bought into the fact that this is not a bad investment. This is not a bad deal. It protects my family. It does all of these positive things. Is what we're hearing, of course. Here, it's wonderful to see that, but we're already packed today. We were packed yesterday. It all started yesterday at about 12:15, which was about 20 minutes earlier than it was your 4 years before.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because I know when NRA President David Keene was on Glenn Beck's show just a couple of days ago, Glenn Beck predicted that with an Obama win, we would see a surge in gun sales like we've never seen before. Obviously, sales have been climbing, but you're already seeing an increase again.
Oh Lord, yeah. I mean, we've been up already, but yeah, it hit yesterday. We had 68% growth yesterday.
Whoa.
So yeah, and today we are packed. I mean, out on the floor right now, we've brought everybody in. And the interesting thing is, in Oklahoma, they tend to not panic. They do tend, however, to get prepared. Mm-hmm. And I think the fear is that that there's going to be moves to begin to do things. And there were a lot of moves in the first 4 years of the Obama administration. They were just all done bureaucratically. He couldn't do anything legislatively. And luckily, the House is still in good hands, I suppose. And we have a fair amount of pro-gun Democrats, which are out there, which is certainly nice. But we're worried because he can do a lot bureaucratically from the office, and that's what has us concerned.
Yeah, there's no question when it comes to executive orders, and he's pretty good at that. But
oh my gosh, yes.
He promised in his speech last night. I don't know if you heard him. The best is yet to come, and that we have a lot of work to do. Do you have any doubt that work includes exactly what he talked about in one of the debates, which was reinstating the assault weapons ban?
Yeah, the so-called assault weapons ban.
Yes, the failed assault weapons ban.
That in magazines. And, of course, that's what we heard Feinstein was working on last week. There was news on the wires that came out about that meeting, and we're still trying to figure out what all that entails. But, the deal is this time, 4 years later, there are millions, not thousands, but millions of brand new gun owners that we have in this country that we didn't have 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that is probably the greatest saving grace that we have right now, is that when they do start making a move, they're going to upset more people today than they did yesterday.
And I think that's a good point. I think people overall realize they want the option. They may not own a gun right now, but they want the option, and they see the threat from this administration, whether it's via Congress or whether it's someplace like the UN that this president has already said he wants to work with.
Yes, I agree with that, and we've heard that from a lot of folks. It's interesting you say that. Whether they will own a gun or not, they just want to have the choice there for them to do that. They've begun to figure out what we all have figured out for some time, that guns aren't the problem. People who do stupid things are the problem. Deal with the people and leave the guns out of this. A free country is still a free country if the people are in control. So.
Mm-hmm. And when you talk about Dianne Feinstein and what she's looking at a bill supposedly that would ban pistol grips, high high-capacity magazines, also eliminate any grandfathering. Sound familiar to you?
Yeah, grandfathering, which is what's got us all intrigued, because you sit here and think about grandfathering, because normally everything that would already be bought would just be grandfathered in, and they're talking about that, and I keep thinking, what does that mean? Are they going to go house to house and pick stuff up? I mean, where does that go? And that may be just a negotiating tool. The problem is this is also convoluted. My deal is the same as I've said before. Guns aren't the problem, folks. People who do stupid things with guns are the problems. Deal with the people. Leave the product alone.
Miles, you see people coming in buying firearms. Is there one particular firearm that's a real hot item right now?
Well, anything that's concealable is still the big push. In Oklahoma, the concealed carry law certainly has had its share of push in recent years, and we just went to open carry, in fact, effective November 1st. Right. And so size is an issue for them. So it's pretty much anything that can be concealed. However, yesterday, where in a normal day you would sell 10 or so long guns, we went triple that, and that was yesterday. And so, the things that they're wanting to get rid of are the things that people are going to be coming in to buy, which is pretty much anything black. Anything with a magazine in it, is going to be considered. And I have to tell you, Jenny, we certainly are, in a business mode. You think, isn't this great? And it's not. We're not happy about this, because business is like modest growth. That's what we like. When you suddenly have this going, it sets in motion things that are kind of odd, and we're trying to deal with that. We're at least prepared this time, us and all the other more performance-oriented dealers. They're prepared for this.
As you said, not happy about it. As you said, this is a right, but people are in fear of losing that right like never before.
Right.
And you've got a president, he no longer is going to be running for re-election, so he's free to do whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah, and the problem in the first 4 years is all those attacks they did against the gun industry as a whole were all done bureaucratically. They were not done legislatively, trying to do away with ammo and trying to ban this and to do that. There were all these pushes, and it's like, luckily, we had enough pro-gun people in both the House and the Senate to put the kibosh on all of this. But, who knows where we're going to be in the next 4 years. I hate to be a doomsayer. We're all talking here internally about, let's get them involved, get them shooting, because an educated, responsible gun owner is going to be the greatest defense we will have against what could be some scary times ahead of us.
Yep, and as David Keene said, an increase in numbers as they're seeing is a louder voice, and there's no doubt when this goes and starts coming down that the gun owners are going to make their voices heard.
Yes, and like I said, they're going to upset more people today than they did yesterday, and that's going to hold true for tomorrow.